I'm just looking at, first of all, I'm looking at this Buffalo offense. Can it respond? You look at what happened last week against Buffalo, against the Baltimore Ravens. First of all, defensively, they let Derrick Henry do their thing, but offensively, they never looked in sync, right? Continue to lean on this run game. Continue to lean on James Cook. The guy's averaging over 4.5 yards per carry, right? And when you're leaning on the run game, do it out of 12 personnel. 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. Those guys, your 2 tight ends should be on the field every single play against this Houston Texans team. That way, every single time Josh Allen drops back, they have to worry about the run game, right? And that way your play-action pass comes up. And then you can see Josh Allen on the center a little bit more this year. You can see your play-action pass explosives start to come to fruition. That's what has to happen with this offense. I'm glad of this version of Josh Allen I'm seeing this year. I've said it on this show before. I like long-haired Josh Allen. He seems a little bit more relaxed. Hadn't thrown any interceptions this season. I hope I didn't just jinx him for that. But I think he's done a great job taking care of the football, but continue to run this football, and that way the explosive play-action pass plays can come up. If they do that, I think they win this game easily.
Yeah. I'm going to go to similar topic, but switch teams. Houston Texans have been good this year, 3-1. Don't quite look like themselves offensively, right? And if you start to look at why, is it C.J. Stroud? Is he having a little bit of stuff? I don't think so. I think it's more, this is a team predicated on running the heck out of the football. I know C.J. Stroud is awesome. I know he's awesome. But so much of what they do offensively is about, can they run the football effectively? They have not had Joe Mixon for the last couple games. He has been battling an ankle injury. Came back to practice last week at the end of the week. I believe it was on Friday. It was questionable for the game. I don't think had a really good chance to play, but at least he was questionable. Progress. They should get him back this week. That, to me, means a couple things. One, he is really good. And he looks like to me, he looks like a 25-year-old. That's how fast I think he has looked this week. Ended up getting injured, knocked him out but he looks good. And to me, this is the thing that is going to help make this offense go. They can run block extremely effectively. Put Joe Mixon back on this Texans team. Should look offensively like their old selves.
I would look early for this, too. I mean, if you look at the Bills' defense, what just happened to them at the hands of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it's great.
Joe Mixon is not Derrick Henry. Nobody's Derrick Henry. But Joe Mixon is completely unafraid, extremely physical. If I was looking at that Texans offense, the first 3 plays would be runs right up the middle because Milano's still not there, Bernard's not there, Taron Johnson's not there. I would immediately test the toughness of the Bills' run defense after what I saw, and they have a guy in Mixon to do it. But listen, I think it's really interesting this week psychologically to look at Josh Allen, like Mike pointed out. Josh Allen and the Bills have not lost games like that they lost last week. They were absolutely slaughtered from start to finish. And even when they do lose games, they had an historic streak of never losing by more than 6 points in the regular season. They're always in tight games. Not like that. I also find it interesting that he has this streak of no interceptions going. He's really playing clean football. And now we return to Houston, where there was an infamous game between the Bills and the Texans in 2019. This is the Bills entering the playoffs. This is Allen when he earned the nickname Sugar High Josh Allen. Do you remember watching this game?
Oh, man.
This is John Smokey Brown, who's going to run the throwback pass to Allen.
Oh, I remember him.
Look at his excitement. Bah! All right, he gets up, slams the ball, spins it, and now he's going to do this celebration.
Oh, that was so dope.
I mean, it was incredible. He had this wild, childlike energy for the whole game. This is a game when Watt was still there and Watson was still there. And that energy came to really undo him, in which there was a ton of plays like that and taking huge sacks. And at this point, you can look back as a Bills fan and laugh on it because he's became a superstar and they've won playoff games since then. But there were some this is the one by far. This is late in the game. He's got the first down. They just tackle him, and he laterals it. Everyone was screaming at their TVs. It was a Saturday playoff game that they ended up losing in overtime because Sugar High Josh Allen was like a werewolf or something. He had changed completely and was so excited. I'm looking forward to the new, several years later, MVP candidate Josh Allen showing up with no interceptions to the same field against the same team, albeit a different roster. Does he keep this thing going? Is this the game he makes a bunch of mistakes and we say, same old Josh? Or is he like, the hell with that same old Josh? I'm going to move the ball around new. I'm not going to do anything resembling what I did in 2019. But really, it was an excuse to run that video, which is highly entertaining. I know it's not great for Bills fans.
What
It's
was
really
that
funny
dance?
video.
How did it go?
That's the Smokey Brown
You
dance.
do it, Ian.
John
It's
Smokey
the-
Brown, when he was a Cardinal, used
crazy
to score and go like,
Crazy
like
arms.
that. And so
you
he
gotta
did it
pump,
because the
too.
pass was from him.
Yeah,
Remember that, Mike?
Yeah, crazy arms, man. But to your point,
Yeah, it
Kyle,
was fun.
that is the reason why they have to run the football. You can't force Josh Allen into thinking he has to be this Superman the entire game and do all of these things or whatever. As you can see, when he pitched that ball back in that highlight or that low light for the Bills Mafia that you were showing, that game was within 3, and he pitched it back while they were driving in to go into the scoring zone. So, again, if they can have some type of a game plan where it's run-oriented and run-focused, that way you can focus on that, and then Josh Allen can be special Josh at the end of the game.
I'll go back to something that Ian said when we talked about the Texans and being convincing. So what are you looking for in this game? I'll go Texans side of things. For the Texans to prove they're not just the best in their division, they are right now. Are they among the best in the AFC? And obviously this is a Bills team that's a little bit down right now. But you look at that schedule, and Ian sort of referenced this. They got 3 wins. None of those 3 wins are against teams right now that have a winning record. Not their fault. That's on who's on the schedule. They played one really good team. That was the Minnesota Vikings. And there's a huge discrepancy between that game and then the other 3 games. That was a blowout loss, 34-7 to the Minnesota Vikings. So here's their chance. A really good team is coming to town to say, hey, we're not just the class of this division, which they clearly are. This can be a signature win early in the season for them because they haven't had these convincing. And even the wins that they have had against those other teams, they weren't, these dominant, convincing wins. And I think they can do that. And they certainly have an opportunity this weekend.